Good evening, friends, and welcome to yet another very exciting session with Major General Sudhakar Jee. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so Sudhakar Jee, starting with the first point of discussion is that NSC Ajit Doval and his French counterpart Emmanuel Bon reviewed a cooperation in key areas including security, technology, space, and civil nuclear cooperation ahead of President Emmanuel Macron's visit to India next month. So we can see that that India and France is getting closer and closer, especially with the unpre- unpredictable way that Donald Trump is behaving erratically and his relationship towards India of late. He said one day that he's going to put 500% tariff and all those things. So, do you see that even Trump's decision to somehow take control of Greenland has upset the NATO and European Union as well?
Look, firstly, good evening, Jaydev, and happy Army Day. And it's a big day as far as
Happy
the Army is concerned, and it's being celebrated with a lot of pomp and show here in Jaipur. And this is for the first time it is being demonstrated in the civil area outside the cantonment, and happening for the first time in Jaipur. So now, regarding the question which you have asked, firstly, Donald Trump's behavior is only known to him, and nobody can understand his mind, his foresight, his vision, and his logic. And but I give him his due. He's the elected representative of his constituency of America. People have elected him. He's been elected with thumping majority. Popularity is extremely high for past 30, 40 years. No president had such a high level of popularity. So, be that as it may, the fact of the matter is he's pushing unwarranted agenda beyond a limit, and those unwarranted agendas are have started harming USA in a significant manner. Today, while you and me are talking, I was very interested. Why I changed the timing is because I am told the Supreme Court of USA is going to uh, announce the verdict about the tariff at equivalent time, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So I was trying to keep that 8 p.m. free so that I can listen to the news, go to USA channel, because I don't think, as per my assessment, the question which the petitioners have asked, are the tariff imposed by Donald Trump legal? So I don't think Supreme Court will find any kind of justification or logic to make it legal. It is definitely going to be illegal. That means that is a huge amount of money, something close to 266 billion as of now. It could be much more. Have to be refunded. Have to be refunded from the agencies where it has been recovered. Okay, so it may be much more than that. This is just a rough estimate and figure I could calculate in just about half an hour's time. It could be much more than that. And that apart, the issues like Greenland, Venezuela, now impending attack on Iran, such like issues, Iran attack will happen because Netanyahu will not let him go without actually pulling him in like last time. And that attack is going to be short and sweet. And like I have been till yesterday, I have been saying there is no attack which has been planned or executed by USA against any country for whatever purpose, call it regime orientation, reorientation, or regime change. These are all semantics. So, because Venezuela thing is being called as regime reorientation, it is not regime change. It is the same regime which is in power. They are being coerced or forced to reorientate their regime's objective. Okay, they are towing them. They started towing the line of Donald Trump. So, whether similar thing will take place, in my opinion, it is going to be a classical regime change taking place in Iran. But is that going to be that easy? Iran has, although suffered lots of hard-hitting blows in past 1 year or so, its air defense is zilch, they're almost negligible. So first layer of defense is gone, and good fortune, I would say, they do not have contiguous geographical border with Israel. They have a gap of almost 1,800 to 2,100 kilometers in between two countries. And whatever attack they carry out with the help of standoff means by missile, long range missiles, drones, loitering ammunition, etc., etc. But the only weapon system which they have not used extensively, they have used, but not as extensively as one was expecting, are the hypersonic missiles. They have a huge stockpile of hypersonic missiles which can avoid the detection and interception by any radar because they can take a very low level flight path, and hypersonic as it is, they follow a unpredictable trajectory. They follow a mix of ballistic trajectory as also cruise missile trajectory. I can explain subsequently whenever we discuss about this what is this hypersonic missile. And hypersonic missile moves at a speed which is between 5 Mach to 10 Mach, or maybe even more than that, like Oreshnik missile of Russia, that moves at a speed of 10 to 12 Mach, which is incredible, something close to around 12,000 kilometers per hour. So that is the kind of speed, and no radar can pick up. So that is a great danger. And we have to keep in mind that America also has got 19, more than 19 bases in Middle East, and 19 to 30 as per my count. And troop disposition is numbering to around 46,000. I'm given to understand that in past 48 hours, some pullback of troops is taking place in some of the bases. Air headquarters is in Qatar, and the naval headquarters aircraft carrier is supposed to be there at Bahrain, but this is for the first time such an attack is being planned without the aircraft carrier. That aircraft carrier has been sidestepped to Caribbean Sea. And I'm given to understand Nimitz and another aircraft carrier, they are being sidestepped from South China Sea. They're under move already. They should be building up closer to Iran and in the proximity of Middle East in next foreseeable future, couple of days time. So if that happens, that means the intent is going to solidify further. So the attack will be imminent. And if they attack, what are they going to attack for? The aim of the attack, as per me understanding, would be preventing Iran from going nuclear. One. Number two, there is sure shot going to be a regime change. The supreme leader Khamenei is going to be changed because there is an unpopular wave of people on the grassroots level who have already been conditioned by the weak economic condition. The economy is in doldrums. The value of real has gone down to 1.42 at places I was reading, gone down 1.45, touching almost 1.5 million reals to a US dollar. That is the kind of value of real which is today. The inflation has gone up further from 42.2% to almost close to 48% now. It is likely to cross 50%. There is no employment, and also the cyber attacks are going on. There is no internet facility, the lighting facility is not there, the medical facilities have closed down. The people have to understand how did this start. It started with the bazaris. Bazaris are the merchants of Iran. On 28 December 2025, they went onto street because of the lowering of value of real. What was happening was they were buying products at a higher cost, and they were being made to sell the products at a controlled price. So government controlled prices were lower so that it did not actually impact the pocket or hit the pocket of the people, low class people, in their livelihood. So thereby the merchants felt that they are being taken for a ride. There is no margin of profit at all. So without profit, why should bazaris or merchants do any kind of business? So Iran is got a significant domination of these merchants and bazaris, and they have also a say. They are heard, by the way. So they having gone to the street, gradually it picked up momentum. The value of real kept on going down, and the cost of product also kept on increasing, and the supply chain also got disrupted. So under these circumstances, the people all over the 31 provinces, gradually it started with one, then seven, then 17, then 21. Now it is touched all 31. Over 185 cities about 4 days back, they witnessed riots and civil unrest. Now I believe it has gone beyond 105, more than 200 cities. And 4 days back, it was 470 places where the riots were taking place. Gone beyond that figure, and there are about 3,000 unofficial figures suggest more than 3,000 people have died. So while I'm painting all this situation, Donald Trump has said the help is coming and what's to that effect. And he is also provoking his statements, and Netanyahu's statement are basically provocations to the people to continue with the unrest and the agitation. So basically, I would say this is not a one night or one day affair. It has been going on for quite some time. There is a calibrated and doctored kind of a design which is being put into place by Mossad and CIA, and it has been happening for past nearly more than 2 to 3 years time, and they are all out to bring down the present regime and carry out change. And the Raja Pahlavi, the eldest son of Shah dynasty, uh, pre 1979 era, is sitting in exile. In USA. He's already ready. He's given a couple of statements. Whether he will be successful or not, or he will be another like Yunus. It is time only will say. I can't predict actually whether people will accept him or not because of mismanagement, misgovernance by the Shah dynasty. These clerics they came in. If you take look back, study the history in detail. 1979, the turning points were two. One was excessive empowerment of women for the sake of bringing in modernity and modernization of Iran society. the, the second point was the mm, second was the oil industry. It got nationalized. When oil industry gets nationalized, the foreign companies they are left in a lurch. They will have no control. They will have no say. It will be all controlled by the government. So on one hand, Iran got isolated way back in 79, started from 53, 54, carried on till 79. So it's a long drawn affair. Many things happened during that period. We can cover that separately. But essentially, it was an autocratic monarchy at that point in time. They were trying to bring in modernity and modernize the society and have a liberal, rules based democratic order in Iran. They were trying at that point in time, but nothing could work out because of the empowerment of, I would say, my assessment. I may be wrong. I think these are the two turning points. Now, this hijab issue in 2022, you see, there are a number of incidents which have occurred in similar nature in Iran. 2009, 2019, 2022. 2009 was something to do with, I think, oil. Sorry, 2019, the oil prices went up. 2009, something happened which actually spiked up a similar kind of situation in Iran. 2022, we all remember how that young lady, Kurdish by tribe, I think, because of hijab issue, it was a custodial death under the police custody, and that is how the agitation. But this kind of enormity of agitation has never taken place. So, under the circumstances, Donald Trump, just to distract people in the domestic constituency, because there is too much of pressure on Epstein file, there is too much of pressure on economy sinking, there is too much of pressure on tariff judgment. It should be coming today by evening 8 o'clock IST, and wherever he has touched his hand, I don't think he has ever succeeded. So therefore, Venezuela is trying to showcase it as a law enforcement activity, which I do not agree, because you don't carry out law enforcement activity of a country 4,500 to 5,000 kilometers away under the name that they're supplying cocaine. If they're supplying cocaine, the cocaine supply chain should be boosted. Not Maduro should be displaced like this. Maduro has become a target because in 2018 he went absolutely vocal. He told in public forum that the oil trade will not be carried out in dollar, it will be carried out in non-dollar currency, ruble, yuan, uh, yen, etc., etc. Okay, and he had said that actually that hit USA very hard, and since then Donald Trump has been targeting him. That is how he has actually got him removed. And well, similar thing may take place here. So you never know. So therefore, to answer your question, I personally feel that these are all dramatics he is resorting to, and talk about Greenland, annexation of a country which is under the jurisdiction. They have an agreement of 1951. Greenland and USA, they have an agreement, except for the sovereignty of that country, that piece of land. That land is around 2,700 kilometers north south to approximately, I would say, 1,100 to 1,200 kilometers west east. It is the size with 34,000 kilometers of coastline, and two-thirds of the country comes under Arctic, and there is 80 meters of ice over it. And people say there is a huge deposit of coal, diamond, gold, oil, fossil fuel under the ice. So, whatever may be the reason, I think in your previous podcast, I had said, I had clarified as to what is the basic aim of USA as on today. The basic aim of USA of Donald Trump is to ensure steady inflow of wealth into USA, so that the economy, which is in a downswing, gets rejuvenated and revived. Because they have $38 trillion of debt as on today, it means they require 1 trillion, close to $1 trillion annually for the servicing of the interest. To run the country, they require $6 trillion, but the revenue generation is 4 trillion. So there is a deficit of 2 trillion here, and there is a requirement of 1 trillion. Total 3 trillions are required. How much of dollars they are going to print? Congress has exhausted all options of giving permission. So therefore, they have to look out for avenues which possibly could provide resources or lead to inflow of wealth, steady inflow. This statement has been given by Federal Reserve, um, the head. I'm not talking about Powell. Before Powell, there were many heads who have given this statement from time to time. USA consistently requires steady inflow of wealth. Only then it can sustain and remain like a superpower. Otherwise, it's going to lose its shin and, and the striking capability and the assertion that it is enjoying, authority it is enjoying as a. So steady inflow of wealth. They have identified a couple of issues. Oil market today is 2.1 to 2.6 billion. They have a defense industry market is anything up to 2.1.8 to 2.1. Pharmaceutical industry is again 1.6 to 2 trillion US dollar market. Drug industry is close to 2 trillion. Roughly, I'm giving these figures. Okay. Then the fifth one, which is added, is the rare earth element. So wherever you find there is an eruption of flashpoints or triggering of flashpoints, be assured that they have located such kind of things, and they want to actually harness, either acquire land or take control of the oil, or these three, four things or five things which I've listed out. Iran is known for having huge deposits of rare earth element, and it is one of the largest oil country with the oil reserve. I think it is third largest after Venezuela. You have Saudi Arabia, then Iran is the next one, if I'm not wrong. And China is totally dependent on this. So indirectly, USA is playing a game of disrupting the supply chain of energy security to the BRICS countries. Why BRICS countries? Particularly China. Why? Because this is the period or the time of the global south. This is Asia century. And in Asia century, you find the developing countries are demonstrating very rapid growth, economic growth. And in times that, because just to exemplify the whole issue, that out of four top countries, as far as the PPP terms, purchasing power parity, you find China on the top. Next is USA. Third is India. As far as the PPP GDP I'm talking of, and the fourth is Japan. Okay, so out of these four countries, you find three countries are from Asia. And if you actually go read between the lines, Russia is the fifth one, by the way, as far as the PPP terms are concerned. So therefore, there is a greater dominance of Asia, and in Asia, the shining spot is in India. People used to say this is the decade of India. I'm not saying decade. This is the century of India. This is India's century. So to actually derive the mileage and to harness this potential that we have as a country, we have to have our youth bulge. We have got the largest youth bulge in the world. 65%, more than 887 million people who are in the bracket of 15 years to 65 years. So everyone cannot be given sarkari employment. People have to be innovative. They have to be creative. They have to keep themselves employed. So therefore, we need to discipline ourselves. We need to actually think about what we can do for the country, not ask what country can do for us. So similarly, the duties must take precedence over the rights. That is what my philosophy is. That each one of us has got a role and responsibility. We should always ask: is there anything I can do for my nation building, for national security? This is the moot question, and I personally feel every man in our country is a soldier. He is a soldier who always puts country first and his own requirement last. He is a soldier. Even if he is not, he must try to become one and must dedicate himself like a normal trained soldier in the Indian Armed Forces. It's not necessary that everyone has to wear the uniform. Even civilians also can. So, under these circumstances, one straight answer to you is that Donald Trump is definitely trying to mislead the world, adding on turbulence to the existing geopolitical turn, and contesting the very paradigm of rules-based international order. You don't arbitrarily go and annex a country. You don't pick up a sitting president at middle of the night from his bedroom. Him and his wife, no matter what he has done, you don't do it this way, and you call it under law enforcement project, and you come and attack Iran the way you were doing. You are the one who had promised that you will not add any more new conflicts to the mindless conflict which are going on, one in Ukraine and one in Middle East. You would bring them to an end. So he's adding on to the confusion, adding on to the turbulence, and mindful of the fact that the people in the NATO or the Europe, they have started galvanizing now. You talk about, I think, France, Germany, and three, four other countries who are getting together. They have started mobilizing their troops who will be going into Greenland. So, what kind of activity it will witness, whether it will lead to a confrontation or something else, it is anybody's guess. I personally feel that Donald Trump is pushing the issue beyond a particular acceptable, and knowing him, he will go full hog. He will annex, but that annexation will give rise to discontentment, resentment amongst his allies. You don't go and fight or unleash a war against your allies. They are the time tested allies of past 75, 77, 78 years from 1949 till date. So you don't do that. And therefore, my only take on the whole issue is that it will look good to him that if he resorts to diplomacy and dialogue, talks to the people, convinces them as to why Greenland is required from security point of view, why it cannot be dominated by the European Union, or let's say the elements of NATO who are in Europe today, the NATO members, because there is a huge deficit of the military hardware. Japan and China together, they will be able to extend their dominance onto the North Sea. The Arctic is melting, the new shipping lanes are opening up, and the world order is changing from what we had witnessed earlier from Indo-Pacific and transatlantic relationship. It is shifting to the Arctic. So therefore, he is preparing USA for the futuristic requirement, trying to make USA great again. That is what I feel, because the distance taken to travel the product, anything which is going through Suez Canal and or Cape of Good Hope, going towards Europe, it takes anything up to 45 days. I'm given to understand from open sources the time taken for movement of these products to via the North Sea is half the time. When the time reduces, the cost of the product also will reduce, and therefore this is opening up a new vista of opportunities for times ahead. And economics will have a direct impact of positive spiral from this particular effect. And America, no country would like to sit behind, although America itself is a member of the Arctic Council. But then it has got something else in the mind, which I have not discussed in your channel, but let me clarify this. You see, Greenland at one point in time is to have more than 14 bases, 14 to 15 bases, military bases. Why did they have it during Cold War 1.0? They used to have it essentially to make effective monitoring and surveillance activity over the flight path of oncoming missiles or the threats from the USSR during Cold War 1.0. After USSR has disintegrated, they have reduced the number of bases to only one. The present one is capable of only doing that limited particular activity. The threat continues to remain the Russia. Russia has taken over the legacy of USSR. Therefore, if they have to prepare a thing like Iron Dome without discussing too much in the open, they need to re-establish and have a full dominance over the Greenland because it is strategically located, it's centrally located. Anything coming from Russia, this is the centrally located piece of land or massive which will enable America to intercept and monitor the projectiles till it reaches the target or neutralize before it reaches the target. This is what my take on the whole issue. And he's not coming out in the open, he's not telling this to anyone. And because they had anti-ballistic missile treaty in 1972, USA arbitrarily and unilaterally withdrew from this in 2002. And thereafter, there have been number of agreements between USA and Russia, and they have, except for the intermediate range, that nuclear agreement, which is called as INF agreement, that I believe is extended under extension till 2026. It is subject to review now this year only. So rest all agreements they have withdrawn. America has withdrawn arbitrarily, putting some allegations against Russia because Russia has got a very superior quality of hypersonic missile, which can have nuclear hardware as also conventional hardware. It can hit America at a 10 to 12 Mach speed, that hypersonic missile. No surveillance system of America can intercept such kind of hypersonic missile. China has got, if not better, almost parallel hypersonic missiles. So the hypersonic missile does not have quick solution. Be it Iron Dome or Golden Dome or whatever you call it, Silver Dome, and nobody has been able to find any preventive measure to prevent hypersonic missiles coming into or penetrating through and then hitting your assets inside your homeland. So these are the issues, perhaps because of which he's trying to firstly divert the attention, secondly, trying to ensure steady flow of wealth. Thirdly, in doing so, he is also trying to achieve some objective which are not realistic now because the countries in the Europe are saying these are unfounded threats which he is presenting or projecting. Russia and China are about to attack America from Greenland. So they may be right. But as a futuristic requirement, this is for the first time I admire Donald Trump that tactics without strategy is like noise before defeat. So he is doing something inadvertently. I don't know whether his advisors have advised him or not. He is doing the right thing, but in a wrong way. So it cannot be done overnight. He has to take everyone along because a threat to America is also a threat to Europe. He has to understand. So therefore, simply making a statement that they have to go in for this thing without giving any explanation and keep badgering everything that comes his way and goes absolutely blinkered to capture or annexation of Greenland is going to unfold or unleash a plethora of messages signaling to the world order, where in any country, anywhere, if it is a dominant power in the region, it will definitely go into carry out similar activities. So the time has come where the question should be asked: has he started towing the line of Putin? Because the same people, Americans, they were criticizing Putin. Putin did something for his protection and security and safety of his country. Okay, so has the time come that anyone who's powerful, might is right, go as per the Thucydide concept of, the strong will do what it can, the weak will suffer what it must. In the old saying, जिसकी लाठी उसकी भैंस. So is that the order that we are looking for in 21st century? And if the answer is yes, I have nothing to comment. I would like to withdraw any kind of assessment. This is definitely not conducive. It should be stopped. Then, yeah.
Yeah, some key points regarding Iran is that Tehran has opened the airspace. And also, my question is the Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini. Do you think that with all the technology and intelligence that they can find his location?
They know his location as per my because I've dealt with the subject during my time when I was in service. USA, with the kind of surveillance system it has got, the spread of CIA modules, like the CIA module was already in place for more than 1 year in Venezuela. Similarly, CIA and Mossad, they know where his location is. It is a different issue that they are not targeting him. It is simply not possible that the Mossad and the CIA, they don't know where he is. If they don't know, if I give credence to your question, well, it will not be difficult to find out. You know why? Because the kind of penetration which is Mossad and CIA have done into the drone industry, into IRGC, into the private security party of Khamenei, you are saying Ayatollah Khamenei, or whatever you call it, the supreme leader, um, penetration made by these intelligence agencies is phenomenal. They know what food he is having. They know what time he is going to come. They know how is he communicating. I am told he stopped communicating through the mobile. Okay, it is by, I think, some written text or by word of mouth. He tells somebody that somebody goes to Y goes to Z, and Z goes and carries out the execution, something like that. So there is hardly any communication through any medium, a technological medium. I'm given to understand, like China has given to Pakistan, there is a radio set called as Ultraset. Ultra radio set communicates through a satellite. This has got an encrypted version. Encrypted version. It goes in burst messages, radio transmissions. Encrypted version, like generally quantum computing is used in these kind of things. So similar kind of communication system. It is my wild guess. I don't have any evidence of proof. Would have been given to Iran because Iran is a very strong ally, despite the difference of opinion which emerged during the pandemic. China did not extend any forthright support to Iran when they had gone with a begging ball for funds. And their ministers who went to China came, when they came back, many of them died in Iran because of COVID-19. So basically, what I would say, the support still remains. It is a strategic ally: Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, Cuba. They form that unusual grouping of called as the axis of evil. Okay, so all these countries put together. Um, of course, Assad is gone. Otherwise, Syria also used to form part of the same. So, likewise, it will carry on in this manner, and they would have found out his location. They will neutralize him, and just a matter of time. America is shipping the battlefield environment as soon as the aircraft carriers they come, as soon as they have some kind of a protection in their 19. Their mother bases are 8, but these mother bases have got satellite bases, military bases. My count is going up to 30, and each of these bases they have almost close to 1,000 to 2,000 troops. At some place they have got close to 10,000 troops. So all this put together, it is more than 46,000. Although at some places in open source, it came yesterday that they have, and UK, these two countries have started pulling back their troops from the bases in the Middle East. So how much it is true, I really don't know. I think the battlefield is being shaped. Preparations are on. They will definitely attack. My only advice is, if you corner a cat, within four walls of a room, then the situation comes, the cat will start pouncing on the aggressor. That should not happen. Do not underestimate Iran. I have been saying this in number of podcasts, number of channels, that Iran, as per my understanding, is possessing nuclear weapon right since 2000, when the New York Times brought it out, if I remember correctly, 22nd April 2000. That is the newspaper, or around about some close dates. And this has been reported from time to time by investigating reporters on ground. If they don't have high yield nuclear weapons, they definitely have, I would say, what do you call that? Miniature tactical nuclear missiles. Now, miniature tactical nuclear missile, it's still a strategic weapon. It can play many mayhem in the entire Middle East and cause extensive damage, and which will have a cascading impact all over the world. And if US has got all the wherewithal, the intelligence apparatus, the surveillance devices, if it is convinced that it doesn't have, well, we leave it at that. But my research indicates that Iran has. Okay. And the enrichment is not 60%. Enrichment has already reached 87.6%. And the little boy which was dropped in 1945, that enrichment was 86.6%. 1%, approximately 1% lower than what Iran has already achieved. So it is a matter of, putting all gadgets together. They have the projectile, they have the launching system. Three things are required for a nuclear weapon: warhead, trigger mechanism, and the delivery system. All three they have to bring them together, and they can use the nuclear warhead. So these are the issues, and most important thing is that the Strait of Hormuz, which is basically you have 27 to 33% of oil and gas approximately, routing through that sea lane of communication. It is dominated by tiny islands. Strait of Hormuz is a very major choke point. And as per my input, Iran has mobilized its resources. IRGC is there, conventional forces are there, its missiles are deployed there, and at uh, I would say very short range, they can bring down effective fire and bring the entire world trade routing of movement of cargo and oil. This will impact the price of oil, number one. It will impact the trading activity. The cost of products will go up. The US troops are going to be choked. Okay, they will be choked, and it will have a direct and indirect bearing on India as well. Okay, India, things like, you see, we have small number of diaspora in Iran, although, but anything happening in Iran, it has got a direct bearing on the countries around in the Middle East. We have close to almost 9 million Indian diaspora in the Middle East. Look at the remittances. More than 50% of our annual remittances, $125 billion per year, is a big amount. I think last year it was 135 billion. Okay, more than 50% of remittances are coming from these countries, and the oil prices will shoot up. We get a major share of our liquid natural gas from Qatar. You see, that is why you feel Qatar has been on a mode of dissuading USA to go in for the attack. But let's see what happens. My take on the whole issue is that Donald Trump is Donald Trump. He will definitely attack, at least to project himself that he is the supreme commander of USA. Nobody else has done as much as he has done. He is a man of peace, and peace is through the strength. So this is how he is going to project himself. I hope I have been able to answer your question to some extent.
Yeah, it's a very volatile situation indeed, as to what is happening right now. Yeah, and
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
But
You some
do you see that? Sorry, do you see that he might not attack at all?
In my opinion, there is a price to be paid if he attacks. Under the circumstances, when the domestic constituency is already hotting up against him, his midterm elections are around the corner, his TRP, his popularity is going down despite Venezuela, he calls it as a success. Look at the expression that he uses. He said the economy is booming and trade is soaring, and look, these kind of expressions. Investment is, going up by leaps and bounds. Nothing is happening. The tariff itself is a big punishing. He's punishing his customers and the complete market. And look at the churn he's added on to the world over. What kind of peace proposal he's made for Ukraine and this? Nothing. Is it anything implementable? Hamas may have given an indication that yes, they're prepared to disarm, but will they actually disarm? So these kind of things, there are too many imponderables which will come on his way, and particularly if he attacks, Iran has got all the entitlement to attack the military bases of USA within Middle East. It may not. It does not have those projectiles or missiles to go beyond the Mediterranean, but it can hit Israel. It can hit the military bases the way it has hit in the past. Qatar itself, which is supporting Iran for a change, it has got a large concentration of USA forces. Okay, so if he does it, is he prepared to defend his people, protect his people? The answer is no. It has been done in a very hasty manner. After Venezuela, somebody was talking about Colombia. At times, he was talking about Cuba. Suddenly, he said Greenland. And now the forces have started moving to Iran. You see, preparation for a conflict. Iran is not a small little, it's a civilizational country. Look at the depth. They have been subjected to maximum sanctions since 1979. The impoverishment, the economy has been weakened. If he wants to do good, really good, then he should allow Iran to. Iran is also offering, they're prepared to talk. And yet they're saying if they're attacked, they're also prepared to retaliate. And the latest is that some executions have been dismissed. Public execution by Iran. Okay, and Donald Trump had said that if people continue to die in this manner, Iran has given some kind of a tacit assurance that no more death. So that means Iran is doing the line. It is coming up to this thing. So therefore, it is always better to go in for diplomacy dialogue. So since you're asking my personal opinion, my heart says he will not attack, because the repercussions, the retributions are going to be prohibitive against America. You never know. There may be another 9/11 taking place in USA. That is the kind of danger. Today, the country which has got most active and dangerous non-state actors are Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas. Okay, Hamas is a political dispensation. They have a military wing, Al-Qasim. That's a different issue. Houthis. So let's not underestimate any of these proxies that Iran has. Hezbollah is already present in large number in Venezuela. If Venezuela is the backyard, IRGC is already present. Okay. So, and America as a society has been penetrated by ISIS. He's only hastening up the process of inviting these people to attack America in different modes and forms. So, therefore, my conclusion is that my heart says, yes, he will not attack, but my mind says this man is an unpredictable person. He will attack surely for a particular purpose, just to satisfy Netanyahu. Netanyahu wants him to come into Iran for the second time to stop the nuclearization and also carry out regime change. This is a long-term agenda of USA, bipartisan agenda, top secret, by the way. While they keep talking about two-nation theory, but two-nation theory, they will not allow it to be implemented. Or while we are talking, there are people who have been forcibly transported to South Africa. Israel is looking for Somaliland. What for? He wants to shift the Palestinians there discreetly. So therefore, there are very costly steps that he is taking. He's antagonizing the whole world order. He's speeding up the process of bringing BRICS together. BRICS has already gone in for an alternative of SWIFT. Brazil has already gone in for an alternative of SWIFT, and countries have started doing the transactions in non-dollar currency. The de-dollarization, the biggest threat, the central factor is the factor of dominance of dollar. which is going down and down and down from 86, 89%, came down to 54% during pandemic. And now I believe it is resurged or rebounds to 46, 56%, 56 to 59%. The day it goes down below 50%, that day is an irreversible day as far as the status of superpower, that is USA, is concerned. It cannot have a turnaround from that point. That is what the experts say. That is what my understanding is. Back to you, please.
Yeah, so it is quite. We'll have to wait and see how things unfold. So it was a wonderful session, Major General Sudhakar Ji, and we'll see you again next week.
I hope people are enjoying and they're
Ye-
benefiting from whatever I'm saying. This is based on I'm a retired soldier, so whatever, and this is my passion. So I study, I lecture, I listen, and participate in international and national panel discussions. If there is any feedback, I'll only welcome any kind of feedback. I am also a human being. There may be mistakes here and there, and I'm open to corrections, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Jaydev. Please convey my
Thank
regards
you.
to you and regards to all your technical team. Everyone is doing a great job. Keep it up.
Jai Hind.
Jay.